Welcome to the audio version of Conjured BTS, a BTS fanfiction by Zmelio. Episode 8, Conjuring Suga. Previously on Conjured BTS, after practice, Seokjin went on about his dream with a young army. His silliness brought up the mood for everyone but Taehyung, who still seemed troubled. Yoongi left and ended up working in the studio late into the night, drifting into sleep. Meanwhile, a young man named Guy woke up on the floor of his apartment, having passed out from drinking the following night. He was lonely and missed his friend Hojun. He got a text from his brother Kevin, but was more annoyed than comforted. Breakfast. That's what Guy was thinking about before his brother interrupted him. His mom brought him ingredients for pancakes. That sounded like work. He poured himself some cereal and took it to the desk in his room. Between bites, he surfed the internet. It was all boring to him. He desperately needed something to distract himself. He searched what to do when you were lonely. Halfway down the page was an article titled Summoning a Celebrity. What's this? Summon your favorite person by magic. Right. That's ridiculous, he thought to himself. But then on a whim typed summon a K-pop idol. The first listing was titled 2 Days with Your Bias. He laughed under his breath, but a spark of hope swelled within him. I don't really have a bias, but Hojun did. Min Yoongi. Even as he waved off the idea, he found himself clicking on the article. Not possible, he snorted, as he searched for more details. Page after page, he stumbled into a poem. Enchant an object, write your line, cast a spell, and you'll be fine. The voice in his head began to chime in. That's really lame. This is a stupid idea. He protested against it. But how awesome would it be to hang out with Suga, he said out loud. And then thought, he probably would be annoyed and he wouldn't like me. Then out loud again he said, but what harm could it do to just write a line? After rinsing his bowl in the kitchen, he moved to his dimly lit living room and paced, considering what it would sound like to make a line for August D. House car rings, man, they'll never come, so the next best thing is my number one. Stupid, his voice insisted. He tried again, with his cadence a little faster. Can't you even think about it? Want to start a dream? You got it. His voice in his head laughed at him. It wasn't going to work anyway. He didn't have an item to enchant. He looked around the room. It was rather bare, with just one set of drawers he had inherited standing against the wall. He stepped up to it, opened the drawers. In the top drawer were pens, paper clips, and loose paper, but the bottom drawer had a box. Guy had forgotten that he had this box. He picked it up and dropped to his knees. He slid off the lid of the box. Inside were keepsakes he had from his friend. A senior class picture, a Brooklyn Dodgers pin, tickets from Coney Island, a Suga photo card from the Dark and Wild album. Hojun was convinced he would look like Yoongi in this picture if he dyed his hair red. Then there was a chain link bracelet with a $3 price tag, a reference to the BTS show American Hustle Life, of course. He stood up, took out the chain, closed the lid, put it back in the drawer. Then, still facing the wall, he tried again. My house, my car, my house, this $3 chain, my hopes, my dreams, and all of my pain. Don't tell my friends, 'cause I ain't got none. Don't need no one, just need this one. Enchant that bling and then say voila. Here come that master rappin' Suga. Guy didn't really notice the room behind him, filled with lights and stars. God, my rapping is so slow, it sucks, he said. Yoongi, who had magically appeared behind him, replied, do it again so I can hear it. Guy turned to see Yoongi there and put his hand over his mouth in surprise. Oh my God, is that you? Is that really you? He reached out his hand. Can I touch you? He quickly pulled it back and shook his head. Of course not. That's weird. But are you real? Nah, he angrily pointed. You are all in my head. Yoongi folded his arms. Are you sure it's not you that's all in my head? What if he is real? Guy said out loud, which prompted a half smile from Yoongi. Well, Yoongi thought to himself. So this is what happens when you stay up too late and listen too much to Seokjin. Guy looked around his apartment and thought, oh my god, this place is a mess. He couldn't do much about the dusty floors, but it was also littered with empty beer bottles. He ran around picking them up from the floor. I'm sorry, I had a few drinks last night and I didn't clean up. Let me just put these away in the kitchen. Meanwhile, Yoongi was pondering, wondering if Seokjin's insistence that he had a real experience with an army member throughout the Butters promotions had finally gotten to him. Guy took an armful of bottles to the kitchen and Yoongi followed. There was more of the same in the kitchen and Guy was clearly embarrassed, bemoaning, there's some here too. Yoongi seemed unfazed. No worries, he said, while Guy put what he could in the sink. Yoongi looked him over. This guy was younger than Jungkook, he wagered. He looked clean and healthy, but something about him was... Yoongi searched for the word. It was then he noticed all the words in his mind were in English. Well, Seokjin had mentioned that too. Yoongi refocused on the guy in front of him and settled on a word, warn. Yoongi asked, hey man, what's your name? Guy looked to the side and gripped the edge of the sink, thinking, he's asking my name. Min Yoongi wants to know my name. It's Guy. Yoongi broke out in laughter. Guy asked, why are you laughing? He was already beside himself with embarrassment. What's wrong with my name? Yoongi saw the hurt on Guy's face and realized his mistake. Just because this young man was likely a figment of his imagination didn't mean he should be calloused. This was probably some important psychological issue that he needed to work through. Best behave as if it was real. Oh, sorry, nothing is wrong with it. It's just funny that you're a guy and your name is Guy. He started to explain. So Seokjin's been going on and on about this dream that he had, and that girl's name was... But he paused at the guy's still sad face. I'm sorry. Your name is fine. It's nice to meet you, Guy. Guy thinks. He really thinks this is all in his head. He's right. To him, this is just a dream. That's what it said on the website. Guy supposed that was for the best. If Min Yoongi knew that he had just pulled him away from his busy schedule with a magic spell just because he was lonely, then, well, he was sure Yoongi's kindness only went so far. Yoongi asked with concern, Guy, are you okay? He continued before Guy had a chance to answer. Seokjin said in his dream, when he had this happen, he was able to help the girl with some of her problems. Can I help you with something? Guy thinks, there's no way he could help me with my problems, and I'm not going to waste a whole weekend with the Min Yoongi whining about being lonely. So he answered, I just wanted to hang out with someone over the weekend. Hope that's okay. He tried to say it confidently, but he couldn't help but break eye contact with Yoongi's stare. Yoongi thought to himself, what's the purpose of this dream if I'm not helping this army with something? Maybe I have to dig a little deeper. Yoongi asked again, are you sure? You don't have dreams of being a rap star or want help writing music or anything? Why is he pushing me? He doesn't really want to know. Look at the problems he's thinking about. Tips on writing music? I have to stop being so nervous. It's making him question why he's here. And if he finds out what my real problems are, he's not going to want to stay. Guy toughened himself up and answered, I would just like to hang out, like we're friends. Isn't that what every army wants? Yoongi replied, I guess so. I guess that's what we want too. If it were possible to just hang out with army for a couple days, or at least a concert. There was talk about BTS performing in America after the release of Permission to Dance, but the concert they were preparing for right now was completely online. Yoongi sighed. He thought he had gotten over it, how they had lost so much precious time with army to the lockdowns. Clearly not, since the thought of it made his insides ache. Maybe this dream is an exercise that will help me see things from army's point of view. Guy convinced himself to make the most of the opportunity to live out Hojun's dream and spend some time with his idol. What would Hojun do if he had a chance to hang out with August D? Well, the first thing he would do is get out of this tiny apartment. Of course. Guy got himself out of his thoughts. Seeing that Yoongi was still in his, he spoke up. Hey, whether it's your dream or mine, why not take advantage of it? I bet you have no idea where you are right now. I'm going to show you my hometown like you've never seen it before. He grabbed Yoongi by the sleeve and pulled him towards the door, and then, after thinking, he stopped. It's cold outside, though. Maybe you need to change. Yoongi, amused by being dragged by the sleeve, replied, I don't think I will. Seokjin said in his dream he didn't feel the temperature, but his smile dropped into a thoughtful expression when he realized what Guy just said. Wait, cold? Are the seasons here different than they are in Seoul? Is it usually cold in June? Guy answered with a bit of confusion. It's not usually cold right now, but it's not June. It's April.